despite the rave reviews that it got from not just people within the hip-hop industry, but people outside of it on mainstream publications, mind you, they did receive an 80% rating from Rotten Tomato, which is like the Russian judge of movie critiques. Somehow, some way, a lot of negative flack, not a lot, but nonetheless, a fair amount of negative flack was being presented towards the movie. Now, the only criticism that I had of the movie is that they didn't dive deeper into the stories of DJ Yella and also MC Ren, but understandably so, because they weren't as popular or as vocal as the other three members of the group. And also, when it comes to a biopic or a documentary or anything of the sort, the heroes are the ones who tell the story, so to speak. So that was my only personal complaint, but at that point, I'm just nitpicking. But nonetheless, I liked it. But again, going back to the complaints that a few people had about this movie, was the fact that the incidents that involved Dr. Dre and D. Barnes in the domestic abuse situation was left out of the film. Now, here's my take on this, and I don't want to come across as insensitive or have a lack of empathy or anything towards that. While I do understand that that case was a very serious case and that domestic abuse should never happen, in any setting, whether it's a man towards a woman or a woman towards a man, that piece of history did not do anything to impact NWA. It did not shape impact in any way, shape, or form. So for them to leave it out of the movie is understandable. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, well, Dre left that out of the movie because he didn't want to tarnish his image and he didn't want people to think of him as a bad guy. And at the end of the day, we don't need to have a movie to detail every single part of everyone's life. You can only get so much within a 2-hour and 20-minute movie. So if you want the entire dialogue, the entire story, there are multiple sources for that. We are now in the age of social media, so we can go to Twitter for that, we can go to Facebook for that, we can go to Wikipedia for that if we have to. Hell, we should even just dig up the crates and go to Ask Jeeves about that, because I'm sure he'll have the answers. But at the end of the day, it is a biopic. It is Hollywood. Any film that is a biopic, or let's say a comic book adaptation or a TV to film adaptation, they're gonna leave out most parts. And I think people have to take that into consideration, no matter how serious of a case it was. Because at the end of the day, that did not impact NWA. That did not shape them. It wasn't one of their inspirations. It wasn't what brought them to be NWA. It was the drug trade that brought them to be NWA. It was gang violence and gang activity. It was police brutality and the abuse of authority that led them to be NWA, not that tribe. If that's the case, then maybe Dr. Dre should have his own personal film, and then maybe they can detail that if you really want to see it on the silver screen. But at the end of the day, that was more so Dr. Dre's personal dilemma and not the group's. And let's keep this in mind. There are people out there who are mad that they left that out. Well, then let's get mad at the fact, to call a spade, let's get mad at the fact that they left out the fact that Eazy-E's Ruthless Records pretty much expanded the careers of many of our top artists, including Bone Thugs and Harmony and Black Eyed Peas. Those two factions did not make an appearance in the movie at all. The closest thing, in fact, was a demo tape being shown with the Bone Thugs and Harmony being written on it. I'm not gonna tell you when that happens in the film because I might just spoil it for you. But nonetheless, that is shown. On top of that, and then again, I think I just dropped the spoiler, but nonetheless, and on top of that, there was even no mention of any of the other acts that were on Ruthless Records. And I just mentioned Black Eyed Peas. There was no mention of them in that movie whatsoever. And as of right now, they're one of the biggest hip-hop / pop acts within the music industry. And they've been that way for many years now. So there are many things to nitpick at. We could nitpick at the fact that we didn't dive into what MC Ren did after the group disbanded. He had a solo career and put out albums. We didn't expand into what DJ Yella did. And he put out, and he did production for multiple different types of film after NWA is done. There are many things that we can nitpick at. And I feel like, don't get me wrong, it is a serious issue. But that has nothing to do with the group as a whole. And I wish people would just stop trying to find something so negative about it that they would have to insert something like that into the movie to kind of rain on the parade, so to speak. I love how, these same critics are quick to forget that the proceeds of the Compton album, which was inspired by a Straight Outta Compton movie, are going towards the creation of a school for the performing arts in Compton, a very disenfranchised inner city within California. But no, we want to focus on the past sins of Dr. Dre instead of his current and future accomplishments that benefit not only him, but many other people as well. But no, we're quick to forget that. But hey, at the end of the day, that's none of my business. I had to sip some tea for that real quick. But you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say. Let's not nitpick on something that is great, you know, to that extent at the very least. Let's focus on the film for what it is. Because at the end of the day, it's a Hollywood production. It's meant for entertainment at the end of the day. And to tell the story, the main story of how one of the greatest groups, not only within hip-hop history, but within music history, changed the complexion of an entire country. And I think that's the main thing that we should focus on. What do you guys think? Hit me up on Twitter at DM_cool or cool_radio and let me know what you guys thought of Straight Outta Compton, because I thought it was a damn good movie, one of the best movies I've seen all year, and I hope to God that the rumors are true and that this will be up for an Oscar come February. So we'll see how that goes. And on that